The short proof that God exists is the impossibility of the contrary. You couldn't know anything for sure unless God exists.
You can use the same argument against it. Yeah,
no, you could. You could.
Because you're the one making the claim, though.
No, you don't understand. You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm going to say it again, and I want you to try to understand it, okay? The sure proof that God exists is the impossibility of the contrary. If God didn't exist, you couldn't know anything for sure. Now let me explain you what I mean by that. How do you? What's your epistemology? How do you know what you know? Just reasoning? Now, how do you know what you know? How do you receive knowledge into your life?
Reasoning, there's various reasons. There's various modes of reasoning.
Well, tell me one of the ways you get knowledge into your life. Yeah, but don't you? So what do you mean by? So how do you know that's green right there? Those leaves. So your eyes. So that's how you. So like empiricism is how you know truth, by your eyes, your mouth, your nose, your ears, your touch. Okay. So the question becomes, because you're asking for evidence that God exists, right? Like tangible evidence. What's the tangible evidence you have that your five senses are working properly?
Everyone says the same thing.
No.
Everyone.
Well, you don't know that.
I mean, you can go. You
don't know that.
Okay, but like.
No, wait, you said it. You made an absolute question. That's universal. Everybody sees the same thing. Even if no one was colorblind and no one just saw black and white, you couldn't listen. You couldn't prove that because you don't know everybody.
All right. But then by the same token,
that statement assumes something.
Right.
That statement assumes that there's uniformity in nature. But if you're an atheist and there's no God behind everything we see and everything that's been created, why would you assume there's uniformity in nature? I would assume there's no uniformity. There's disorder in nature if evolution and the Big Bang created everything we see. So how you receive knowledge into your world is through your five senses, and your five senses are not trustworthy and reliable, then you know nothing.
So then how does that lead to God being?
Because if God created you, with an intelligent being is behind the creation of you, I have a reason to think my five senses are reliable and trustworthy.
Okay, but then
if I gave you this watch and I said it's made by the best watchmaker in the world, and then I gave you another watch in the box and I had shook it up in a bunch of parts and tried to give it to you, which one would you believe told you the correct time? Yeah, because a created, intelligent being is behind it.
Complexity doesn't just point towards.
Well, I'm not talking about complexity. I'm talking about you being able to know something for sure.
Okay, but
unless there's some intelligent being behind your five senses, and that's how you have knowledge according to you, you can't know anything for sure.
Right.
So as an atheist, you know nothing for sure.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, you don't even know that for sure.
I mean, yeah, if you want to divulge into philosophical things, yeah, I don't know.
It's a vicious circle.
Right.
You don't know anything for sure.
That's the reality, though. That's my
experience. No, the reality is I do know stuff for sure, and you live like you know stuff for sure. You live like those leaves are green. You live like this sidewalk is here. You live like you have shoes on your feet right now. Right. You live like we're actually having a conversation. And so that tells me you're actually assuming God does exist. Because God has to exist for you to do those things and be sure they're actually happening.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. I just proved it to you.
How do you make the jump from assuming the pavement is under me to then there
That's
being a God?
Because you know that from your five senses, which could not be reliable and trustworthy unless an intelligent being was behind them. But you don't believe there's an intelligent being behind them, so really you're not standing on cement on a sidewalk. You don't really have black boots on. That's not really green.
My brain can be considered intelligent, yeah?
You just beg the question. How do you know your brain's intelligent?
But I ask this question all the time. Do you think the brain in itself,
But what are you using to study brains? Brains. How do you know those brains are actually intelligent?
Okay, but like we can keep going like that.
But listen, if what's your kind behind the making of you is nothing intelligent.
Okay, but what? All right.
Nothing intelligence behind the making of you, just blind random chance over millions of years. Why would you trust that you're actually intelligent? Why would you trust your five senses are reliable and trustworthy?
That's a philosophical question.
It sure is, and that's what the problem we're dealing with. This is exactly what it leads to, because when you begin to believe what you should believe, what you know really is true, that God does exist, you begin to seek after him to see what he's like, to know what he's like.